Good evening, everyone. I created this video to discuss the writing of the review of the related literature. There's section of your paper helps you to discuss and provide the specifics of your study through uh, benchmarking from existing literatures and studies. We start by knowing what a review of related literature is. So RRL is a comprehensive review of the existing literature pertaining to a specific topic or research question. The idea is we create new ideas from existing research topics because these were studied also by previous researchers. So what we need to do is to continue exploring that particular topic. It involves the systematic identification, location, and analysis of documents pertaining to information related to the research problem. Why is RRL important? So here are some ways in which a review can be crucial. First is to identify the gaps in the knowledge. As I've mentioned before, we explore further what previous researchers did on that particular field, particular problem. So this is the primary purpose of a review of related literature. To create new knowledge, you must first determine what knowledge can be missing or what knowledge may be missing. You can check that out from the recommendations of those researchers. This also helps to identify the scope of your study. So it could help to differentiate your study from the previous works. Okay, so avoid duplication of research efforts. I mentioned that before that you should check if your study has already been made or explored before. Maybe you're doing the same thing. So we avoid that. What we need to do is to check what else can you do about that particular problem. So not only will a review of related literature indicate the gaps in the existing research, but it will lead you away from duplicating researches that has already been done and thus save precious resources. The RRL also provides an overview of disparate and interdisciplinary research areas. Researchers cannot possibly know everything related to their disciplines. Therefore, it is very helpful to have access to an RRL already written and published. This also highlight the researcher's familiarity with their topic. A strong review of related literature in a study strengthens readers' confidence in that study and that particular researcher. Okay, so how to write our review of related literature for our study. Okay, so this slide gives the general tips on how to write an effective review of related literature. First is to define your topic, audience, and purpose. So before we already undergone the identification of topics, but most of you have already their own topics. So first we should think about who do we expect to be our readers. So could it be researchers also from our field or maybe general public from general public. So what we should do is to adjust the tone of the language that we'll be using for the discussions. So if it's technical, you expect it to be uh, to have technical readers. So the presentation should present the technical aspect of your study. Otherwise, it should be uh, presented simpler. Okay, one that could be understood even those from other fields. Okay, then next is to conduct a comprehensive literature search. So while writing our RRL, we should emphasize more recent works, but also consider those from older publications, especially if it discusses more on theories. For the more recent works, so we're talking about literature published within 5 years. So this thesis is expected to be uh, created or published in 2024. So we're thinking about recent works from 2019 onwards. But again, don't forget to include the older publications, which discusses more on theories, like in the case of image processing. So even if the discussions on image processing are like about 20 years back, the theories is still the same, the ideas is still the same. So you should still include those older publications. Don't also forget to search for uh, papers presented in conferences. So they may also have some concepts that you could use. Next is to review the identified articles and take notes. It is a good idea to take notes in such a way that individual items in your notes can be moved around when you organize them. So at the later slides, you'll be introduced to some of the tools you could use for um, better organizing your literature. Okay, next is to determine how to organize your review. After collecting all those literature, you should know how to organize them per topic. So we want to make sure that the readers are properly guided by our literature review. So as researchers have that responsibility to organize them in such a way that they can be easily understood by the readers. Next is to be critical and objective. Don't just report the findings from other studies in your review literature. Challenge the methodology, find the errors in the analysis, question the conclusions, etc. You will have your own experiments. If you think that previous works have some weak points, you can mention them. If you're that confident that your process is better than them or something like that. The idea is to review the procedure and make sure that what the previous work did uh, is relevant to your work. I'll also take note that this is a research paper and opinions doesn't matter. We base our conclusions from facts. Okay, so we don't entertain opinions that are not based on the results of our study. So we should remain objective and open-minded. We should structure our review logically. You can guide the reader through the information you present, and the structure will depend on the function of our review. So initially, you should create an outline to writing the RRL of the research to ensure that the presented information flows well. Sources. Where do we get these literature? Okay, first source could be academic journals. These often are the primary source of scholarly research articles. They provide in-depth and peer-reviewed studies. So you can explore studies from JSTOR, PubMed, if it's medicine related. In our case, we could get more of related researches through Google Scholar and IEEE Explore. We can also search from books, especially those that are academic and research oriented, which can provide comprehensive coverage of a topic. So you can check actual libraries, online databases, and you may find some information through Google Books, just some subscriptions, or maybe there are other libraries that can be accessed for free. Then we can get studies from conferences. So in conferences, studies are presented. Then later on, if they have some publication, conference proceedings will be presented. So it's also like a journal. The difference is it is presented publicly. Next is government publications. If your study is more on evaluation of policies or development of a policy or something like that, you can get some information through government publications. So government agencies often publish reports and studies on various topics. These reports can provide authoritative information and data. So you look for these government websites if ever the study is related to that. Dissertations and theses. We have our own source of dissertations and theses that can be found in the department, and in the NLP lab there are some books in there. Those are the works of the previous batches, so you can also use them for the reference. Okay, we have also websites of research organizations where some articles are available for access. You just need to diligently search for the concept related to your studies. We also have news outlets. News articles can provide insights into current events and trends related to your topic. Just be cautious of using this information as it may lack in-depth and thorough research, and of course the fake news. Magazines. Some magazines, particularly those that focus on science, technology, and research, may contain articles that summarize and explain recent studies. Gray literature includes reports, working papers, and other documents produced by organizations and researchers, but not formally published. But you can also cite them. You just need to identify that they are unpublished. It can sometimes provide valuable information that are not found in traditional publications. We have blogs and online forums. While less authoritative, blogs and online forums can be a starting point for finding recent discussions and opinions related to your topic. If your topic is somehow related to that, be sure to verify any claims and make sure that it's cited properly. Citations. When you find a relevant source, check its reference list for other sources that can be useful for your research. This can be an effective way to discover related literature. Actually, what you can do is if there's a particular study that is very related to your study, you can explore the reference list of that study, bibliography or something like that, references. So you can explore the listed citations, and you can also use it as basis. Then we have library databases, which is provided by university and public libraries. This could give you an access to specialized list of resources in various fields, which can be a source of academic literature. Because those are all the sources you can explore. You just need to, again, diligently search related concepts to your study. Tools for organizing RRL. So it's actually messy to organize RRLs manually. So what you can do is to use tools, applications to easy access those references. So the simplest one we can use is through the feature of Microsoft Word or other office suites, which provides feature on managing citations and automatically generating sources like a bibliography or references. You can use this, and it provides various citation styles like APA and other famous styles. I provided here an instruction on how you can use these references. Ang idea kasi is if you will be doing it manually, sometimes you change the order or you remove some citations. The problem is if you have done it manually, you will be manually also reordering the numbers, deleting uh, the reference list, etc., etc. So it's kind of hard, especially if you have so many resources. Okay, next is Zotero. This one provides uh, an application which is more comprehensive than what is provided in a Word. So in Zotero, there's like an outline for all your resources. You can group them, and then you can automatically cite them from your application. Let's say you're using Microsoft Word, you can provide a web extension or um, some applications of Zotero wherein you can access it through another application like Microsoft Word. I also provided here a link where you can explore the use of Zotero. Okay, this one, Mendeley. Mendeley is actually what I'll be recommending to you. Ano, this is available online. You can download this, install a desktop application, and then if you're using your Microsoft Word, you can add the extension of this so that every time you search for a particular literature, let's say from ResearchGate, you can automatically add the sources, and then from time to time, you can organize it. Just explore na lang these tools po. Ano, uh, I insist on using these tools for organizing your RRLs. Hindi pwede yung mano-mano. Let's make use of this technology for uh, better organization of our work. Okay, so last slide, last time, I asked you to collect at least 50 related literature and studies. So now I want you to um, organize them through a matrix. Okay, it's something like this. All your literature should be inserted and placed on a table, which with this heading. So first we have the study, wherein you will put the name of study, author, and year. Then we have the research objective. You can have the main objective of the study. Then we have the approach or methodology used. We have here an example, but this is not related on computer science. This is more more on a social science research. But you'll get the idea. Then you indicate the key findings. Then you should discuss the relevance of this study to your study, and as well as the difference. You should establish that there is novelty in your study and it's not a duplication of research. That's why this column is provided in here. Then what you would do is to submit your literature review matrix in the LMS. I'll be providing the submission link for that. Okay, so that's the end of our video lecture. I'll just provide more information through the group chat through our Facebook GC. Okay.